Hey guys, and welcome to another zoo video, Wild Nocatls Unbanned, and I did do a stream a while ago talking about some potential brew zoo lists that I put out. I've updated these lists and have got them sort of where I think I want them to be. This video is just going to be really broad and overview and show you my list specifically that I've been working on. But I wanted to just real quick talk and say that there's three different types, well, 4 different types of zoo lists that I've come upon, and I've settled on them as being sort of the best in what they're trying to do. There is, and let me see if I can just pop it up real quick. There we go, zoo tests. Alright, so 3 CMC zoo. There's Gruel Zoo, Mid-Range Zoo, and Small Zoo. Now, Mid-Range Zoo I'm not going to go over in these videos at all, but it's just basically Kibler's mid-range. There's really not much to it. 3 CMC Zoo, or what I'd like to call is a bigger curved zoo, is a zoo that aims to not just finish off at 2 CMC and just punch. It has a lot of value creatures in it, and it has actually quite a bit of 3 CMCs. It's got Domries, it's got Knight of the Reliquaries, and it's got Smiters in it. But it is sort of like just like a zoo list would be, except it aims to continue the game into a mid-range game. So it doesn't get blown out by removal, is basically it. The other thing that I've got is Gruel Zoo. Now, Gruel Zoo is the list that's right here, so you can see it. It's focused on being incredibly fast. It's hyper-aggro. There's really no other term to describe it. It is hyper-aggro. It is just as fast as Affinity. In a lot of cases, it can be even more stable than Affinity. I would say that this is definitely an option for Zoo to be. It's not the option I like necessarily, because I think if you want to be explosive, then you might as well go with Affinity. This is a little bit explosive with a teeny bit more variance, I think. But what I ended up going to is a Small Zoo. Now, Small Zoo, I focused on consistency. It's consistent and it feels stable. If you look, there's no Burning Tree Emissary, and the reason why there's no Burning Tree Emissary is strictly because I don't like Burning Tree Emissary in this list. Burning Tree Emissary can be a very bad top deck. In this deck, the worst top deck you can get is an Experiment 1. And even Experiment 1 isn't the worst thing in the world to top deck, because if you top deck it anywhere from turn 4 to 5, you still probably have something big in your hand, and at worst, Experiment 1 is a 2/2 for 1 mana, which is still good. But Experiment 1 I found is very reliably transformed into a 3/3 because we have, in this list, 10 different ways to evolve it with 1 CMC. Everything in this list evolves it, except on the 1 CMC we've got 4 Curdape, 2 Loomline, and 4 Wild Nocatl. The reason why is Curdape is actually a little bit easier on this mana. So I've got that instead of Loomline, although I've been hearing more and more people talk about Fae. Putting in Bile Blight for Zoo, which actually is a good idea. It's like Echoing Decay, only better. It gets it for 1 more, and before the ban announcement, I was saying, like, well, that's not really a big deal. Anything that you want to hit with Echoing Decay, you can hit with Echoing Decay, because 1 toughness more, it doesn't really matter. But in the Zoo deck, it does matter, because our lucky number is 3. So if that is something they end up going down, then I will be siding in Curdape's. I'll be actually cutting 1 Curdape and putting 1 Loomline in there, just because it makes it a little bit better. While we're talking about Fae, actually I'll talk about Fae in a bit, probably because I'm going to play it in a second. Fae is everywhere on Cockatrice, because Blighter Blossom is free on Cockatrice. 4 Luxodon Smiter. Reason why I don't run Knight in this list is I've got 20 lands. Knight really comfortably wants to be around 21 to 23 lands. So, it's a little bit better for the beatdown. I don't really have to worry about Knight being a 3/3 when it comes into play. The Smiter will be a 4/4, will evolve Experiment 1 to a 4/4. Big thing is it can't be countered, and that's huge against Fae. Also, it can't be discarded, which is also big against Fae. Tarmogoyf's Not really explanatory. Actually, I should take a second to explain about Tarmogoyf here, because people in the forums have been questioning Tarmogoyf. They've been saying, well, it's very rarely, any more than a 1-2 a lot of the times. Yeah, turn 2, it is probably going to be a 1-2. We're not Jund in this respect, where we're a mid-range deck, and we're going to be forcing there to be a lot of things in the graveyard before dropping our Tarmogoyf. Tarmogoyf's role is actually different than it is in the mid-range deck. It is for us. The reason it's different is because in the mid-range deck, it is meant to be, I do this, I do this, I do this, my board is getting stabilized, and then I now drop a Tarmogoyf and will slowly win this attrition game. That's not what this Tarmogoyf is used for. Tarmogoyf, in our version, is used to say, I'm going to punch you in the face really hard, and you can't bolt me. That's really what his thing is. He will, yes, he rarely gets to 4-5 like he does in the Jund matchup, but it doesn't need to get to 4-5. It can be 3-4 and be totally fine, because that just means it's unboltable, and we need a threat that's unboltable, especially when you can do things like, in this version of the list, you do have several different ways to several different instances and lands that'll go into the graveyard, as well as creatures, and hopefully not our creatures, but the opponent's creatures, as well as Gorklan Rampager will be discarded so to feed Goyf. And I do have 2 pillars and 2 Domries, so 3 Domries, so there is a way to feed Goyf a little bit more. But reliably, he's a lot of the times not a turn 2 play. Sometimes he is, but most of the time you'd rather have the ones convert mana cost beaters come in. Mana base is pretty stock for Arid Mesa. So basically, we're looking at 10 fetch lands, mostly focusing on green here. We're going to see 4 Arid Mesas, 4 Verdant Catacombs, and that could be Misty Rainforest, doesn't really matter. 2 Scalding Tarns. If I really wanted to, I could cut the Verdant Catacomb and make it a Marsh Flat, although I don't feel the need. I'm not heavily enough invested into white to do that currently. I did when I had a Blood Crypt in here because I had Deathrite in for a while, but that's not the case anymore. You'll notice I have 2 Horizon Canopy, also, yeah, 3 basics, because that's what you want to do if you're going to get Path to Exile. You've got 3 different things to fetch. In the Gruul Zoo, it was still the same. You use like at least 2 mountains and 1 forest. Now it's like 1 mountain, 1 plains, 1 forest. But you'll notice I have Horizon Canopy in here. Horizon Canopy can totally be expensive. I can understand if you guys don't want to put it in your deck. Personally, I think it's the best thing to put in over Fast Lands. Fast Lands will just give you the mana. Horizon Canopy is going to give you the mana. Yes, it does hurt a little bit, but not that bad. But it gives you late game draw, and that's something worth looking at. So I filled it with Horizon Canopy. If you don't want to put a Horizon Canopy in there, I would suggest, in this order, Fast Lands, 1 of each, or what do you call it? Treetop Village, or Stirring Wildwood. In that order. You're generally not going to get to Stirring Wildwood mana, but you could, and it makes a good mana filter. I would not do Kessig Wolfrun. I know a lot of people think about doing Kessig Wolfrun. It's totally cute, but without a way to fetch it, aka Knight of the Reliquary, it's not worth it. And if you were running anything less than 21 lands, I wouldn't run it anyways, because it's requiring you to run more lands to get the pump, but even without the pump, yes, you do get the trample, but it's not a colored mana source, and that's bad. So again, we're going down. Domri Raid on the bottom here. I like 3 Domri Raid. Probably could be cut down to 2 if you wanted to do more like Pillar of Flame or Path to Exile or any of those Lightning Bolt, Helix, whatever. I like Domri Raid just because I like Domri Raid. I admit to it might being a bias here. Domri Raid does do a lot of things, though, that I like, which is card draw, and I've got 26 creatures here, so I reliably will draw a little more than 1/3 of the time. If you drop this against any sort of Grixis control deck, and I can't stress enough, I think Grixis control is the new control. There might be an Esper control, but I have heard rumors that LSV or Channel Fireball are looking into Bitter Blossom Grixis. So yeah, Domri Raid does a lot in the tempo matchups, does a lot in the control matchups, does less in other matchups, but you can side him out, so it's not that big of a deal. And he does sort of, like, he's great main deck. I can't stress that enough. Like, if I'm going blindly into something, I'd like Domri Raid, and the reason why is because his +1's always relevant. Card drawing is always relevant. His -2 killing a creature, always relevant. He can be flexible removal. He's not the best removal. He's definitely not Lightning Bolt, but he still counts as removal. And this deck actually has a lot of removal in it if you look closely. It's got 9 instant removals, and then 2 Pillar of Flames, bringing it to 11, and then Domri makes it to 15, and then Gore-Clan Rampager should be counted as removal, even though it's just a bit more flexible because it can be casted as a creature as well. So you go from 15 to 19 removal. It's awesome. It feels great to have that much removal in your main deck. You feel like you've pretty much got a way to deal with like Infect or Affinity or any of the other aggro decks. Going down to the sideboard, this is definitely still not, it's just a work in progress. Like I said, even with the Domri being made, it's because I'm going into a meta blind. We don't know what the meta is right now. We're not going to know until GP Richmond, which is, I believe, the 7th of March, so we've got like a whole month to wait. But the sideboard's constantly changing. What I've found is Scavenging Ooze is pretty good as Graveyard Hate, while still being aggressive. I got a Rest in Peace in there, though, because I haven't really hit very many Graveyard decks. Like I said, I've been hitting Fae all the time. Stony Silence. Stony Silence has always been good for me. If I could move it up to 3 Stony Silences, the hell I would. It's great against Pot, it's great against Affinity, it's great against Tron. It's great against, awesome against Mono Blue Tron. It's got just a ton of other things that you can be using. Boros Charm, I've hicked it up to 3. I'm hitting Wraths now. People are starting to be like, well, screw it, I need to do Wraths, because they're realizing they can't 1-for-1 removal on us enough quickly, especially if by turn 2, is in even the Burning Tree Emissary decks, you're dropping like having 4 or 5 creatures dropped by that point. It's stupid. 2 Destructive Revelry, it's a catch-all. I really like it. Destructive Revelry, someone was saying that Boggles might be huge now that Jund isn't around. Destructive Revelry is there for like stuff like that, as well as Twin, which has gotten a lot better now that Jund isn't around too. It's worth looking at. 2 Volcanic Fallout, I wouldn't have more than that. It's always been win more so far for it, so I'm even thinking about cutting out the Volcanic Fallout. I haven't run into enough Delver and tokens to really make me want to use it. And those are the decks that I really want it against. Actually, even though I can use it against Fae, I'm usually beating their face in anyways, so that Volcanic Fallout, even though I have it in my hand, is just like reassurance that I'm going to win. It's not like I'm definite, there's no way I can lose. Molten Rain. This is a little interesting. I've got Molten Rain in here again. I've been fighting a lot of Tron recently. So I've went back to my normal 3 Molten Rain, and I think that's something you wanna think about. Blood Moon is a card, and without Deathrite Shaman, Blood Moon does get a lot better. Whether it's better than Molten Rain, I don't know. I can't tell you that right now. It does shut off your Wild Noctels and your like Curd Apes and stuff. So it should be. You should be fetching basics at that point, but you might be giving your game away then, so it's one of those things that you've got to make your own decision for. Without any further ado, let's see if we can run into some games. There's Modern, it just disappeared. Let's create a Modern one, and Modern. Maybe we'll talk about stuff while we're waiting. Zoo tests, small zoo. All right, so what else is there to talk about with the deck? Trying to think what else to say. How did I come to this conclusion that 10 was enough? Really, just mostly out of trial and error. 10 reliably lets me know that I've got a way to pump Experiment 1. I don't know, there's something about that number that I've come to. You could do 11, but 12 seems to be like killing it a little bit too much. There's overkill. reliably, I know Experiment 1's going to be at least a 3/3 on turn 3. And there's like, I've got a million different ways to pump that aspect. But I know that when I've got 2 Loom Lines, 4 Curt Apes, and additionally 4 Wild Noctil, I've got it. I don't even really need to worry about the Burning Tree Emissary. Burning Tree Emissary gets a lot better when you have like Boar in the mix and like 2 converted mana cost spells that will reliably evolve E1. The thing that I don't like about Burning Tree Emissary is that Burning Tree Emissary lowers the amount that you can do for 2 converted mana cost. It makes Smiter a little worse, although it's not the worst because you can still cast a Burning Tree Emissary into a Smiter. It's just you've got to now think about your manas. It does make Lightning Helix and Boros Charm a lot worse because you cannot Lightning Helix then Boros, or you cannot Burning Tree Emissary then Lightning Helix. Likewise, you can't. There's so many modern games open, but not me. No one likes me. Let's see. Canada. Cool. So that's a game started. All right, we're gonna leave the game I created. We're gonna roll. I never win my rolls, by the way. Oh, I win my roll! Woo! I won my roll. This is like the first time ever. Okay, so we're in this situation where we've got 2 Domries, but we've got a Tarmogoyf, and we got a Curt Ape, and we got an Experiment 1, so we got something to do, and we definitely got 2 fetches at least, and we got a little bit of time to draw. So I'm gonna keep it. It's worth keeping in my opinion. Like I said in my earlier post, you want to crack your Verdant first. You want to leave your Arid Mesa in case you want to change your mind and grab something else. In this respect, I've got creatures that I want to play. And I know that I need Stomping Ground stuff. That's just what's most heavy. So white can come later. And even white being later, I'd probably get either a Temple Garden, depending on what I draw, or a Sacred Foundry, depending on what I draw. Yeah, whatever. Just 2 damage. Big whoop. Big whoop. Curse Catcher. Okay, so this is Merfolk, which we should have a good matchup for. Drawing a Plains, not what I wanted to do, but that's fine. Let's put out that Arid Mesa. Go ahead and put out the Curt Ape. Evolve that Experiment 1 attack. So I probably could have put Tarmogoyf out there, by the way, and evolved it, and then worried about putting out the and I could have probably put out the Curt Ape. But that would leave me with 2 mana open next turn. I don't know. I would rather get like a Bolt and kill the Curse Catcher, or something along those lines. Silvergill Adept, I'm not too worried about. I'm going to go ahead and kill that thing probably. No, I'm not going to get Stomping Grounds, although I could theoretically get Stomping Grounds. I'm going to get probably red. Red seems to fit my bill a little bit better. Master of Waves, sure, that stinks. So we can expect a Master of Waves in a little bit. That's not too crazy. So he can't counter our Domri, which was what I was going to do. So I could actually Tarmogoyf Curt Ape here, and then start Domrying. If I kill this, Tarmogoyf turns into a 2/3. And that's going to be just basically a Curt Ape. And it's going to be a delayed stuff. So I'd rather get the damage in now. I should have fetched for a thing. I screwed up my fetches. But that's alright. I think what I'm going to do here is... That's not a 2/3, by the way. Oh, no, I'm still fine. I'm still fine. I've still got the mana. So we're going to do that. I'm going to leave this mana open. If he wants to double trade for my Curdape, I'm okay with that. If he wants to double trade for that, that's fine too. And I'm just going to cast the Tarmogoyf here. Because I'd rather have more beef right now. And then next turn, Tarmogoyf's going to be at least a 2-3. Because I'll kill like Curse Catcher or something with the Domri Raid. No big. Oh no, I'll kill the Lord of Atlantis. That's way better. Seems way better. He can pay 1 and put it back to his hand, but that's no big deal either. If he attacks here, that's fine. I'm totally okay with that because I'll just kill the Curse Catcher. So the only thing he can attack with is the Silvergill Adept and take me to 13, but that means he leaves himself way open. So he's probably going to pass the turn thinking he can successfully block something. Although, what does he block then? He trades with my Curdape and that's it. Yeah, no. I'm going to just go ahead and right now pull out the Domri. I think he's maybe got... And I'm going to set the counters to 1. I've got another Domri in my hand, so it's no big deal. Yeah, so if he Vapor Snags like I thought he was going to do. That's fine. Because what it does is it pumps our Tarmogoyf. And he can trade for our Tarmogoyf, and I don't think I realistically care too much if he does that. Getting in the points of damage seems better. He's not going to block and trade because that's stupid. I think attacking all out is probably the best move because then he would have to, if he wants to trade with the Tarmogoyf, he can go for it. Basically screws him over a little bit. If he wants to trade with the Curdape, I mean, he has to trade if he decides to do anything with Silvergill Adept. Yeah, that's fine. It goes down to 8, yeah, so he's really hurting himself a lot here. I don't necessarily mind, because I still got a Curdape that I can do, unless he's got what he like decides to do. Yeah, I can't even do two oh, he's Master of Wavesing. Okay. Which he's got protection from red. That means I can't target him with my Domri, right? Because Domri says target creature you control fights another target creature. So I'd yeah, I can't target him. That's what I assume. Duh. I assume duh. Domri dies. I was hoping I was going to draw like a path like a boss. But that didn't happen. I'm trying to think what's good here. We obviously can't trade. So I'm gonna pass the turn. Really, the only thing that'll save me here is a path to exile. After sideboard, this matchup becomes a lot better. If he puts down another Master of Waves, it's over anyway, so it's no big deal. Oh yeah, so it's over. Let me see what I got. Nope, yeah, it's over. Totally over. Moving on. Sideboard. This isn't one I usually lose. Putting Volcanic Fallouts in there. Destructive Revelry. Don't really need this either. Scoos don't really need Pillar Flames. I really like the removal in this matchup, so I'm not going to lie. I'm going to have to take out 2 Gore Clan Rampagers. Call it a day. Volcanic Fallout's, by the way, good against that anyways, because what ends up happening is I Volcanic Fallout and he loses all of his tokens. Even though he gets to keep the Master of Waves, it's no big deal because Master of Waves then is just really, really overcosted 2-1. And he probably lost everything else in his life, or anything else in play. Like I said, Scoos is not the greatest in this matchup. There's just not going to be a lot of creatures going to the graveyard. I mean, as much as I'd like there to be a lot of creatures going to the graveyard. It was a little awkward. If we had just direct burn, that would have been fine too. Yeah, because then his creature would have went... Well, his creature wouldn't have went in the graveyard. It would have went into his hand. It would have lost the life, but I would have been able to swing for a lot more. Bring him down to something closer to like... Let's see, he was at 8, so it would bring him down to... 3, take away 8, 5, and then I could hopefully burn him out or something. All right, we got Volcanic Fallout and a way to keep stuff on the board. Yeah, this is what we in academic call a perfect hand. I am not afraid at all that he is going to give my creature -1/-1. I'm okay with that. I don't think he is. So what I'm going to do here is cast Loom Lion. And yeah, I'm not worried that he's going to give it a -1/-1. Truth is, just turn 3, I'm going to go ahead and Volcanic Fallout. I might actually maybe Pillar Flame, keep up appearances for a little bit. Oh, Domri's a good draw here too. And we're going to get the Temple Garden here. Now I'm going to put into play tapped. He's going to lose 2 life. I mean, unless he wants to bounce back into my hand. That's fine too if he wants to do that. That's not... Like, I guess then at that point I could have held the Temple Garden and like let it come into play untapped, but whatever. I didn't really care too much. Cadver Souls is fine. If you want to cast something, go for it. Maybe I'll do something crazy and I'll hold it till turn. What is he putting out? Spellskite? No big deal. I'm gonna kill that Spellskite though. That is definitely happening. So the question is, do I want to put a Curry Ape out and then Pillar Flame? That's probably what I want to do. If he doesn't block, that's fine too. If he wants to go down to 14, that's fine. I'm not going to Domri Raid just yet, though. I'd rather put a Curry Ape out there. I mean, he's thinking about blocking it. I've got Burn, though. I mean, it's no big deal. Like, delays me 1 turn. Really, the Spellskite doesn't do anything much than block. That's fine. Sure. Damage. Second. Pillar Flame, kill it. And we're setting ourselves up for a huge Volcanic Fallout. It's huge. It can't be countered, so yeah, I don't really care what he has in his hand. It's not helping him. Big whoop. It doesn't have protection from red, so I'm going to go kill it right now with my Domri. Seems like a better play than Volcanic Fallout. Again, I want to save that Volcanic Fallout to be awesome. And he's currently mana screwed on 2. I'd love him to get to 3. Yeah, that's fine too. To put out some merfolks. Really, I want him to put out like 3 things and then just crush his dreams. That's really what I want to do. I would love to crush his dreams. But if I don't have to reveal that I'm playing Volcanic Fallout, I won't. Yeah, that doesn't help either, dude. See, like, the Merfolk deck just dies to Volcanic Fallout. There's, like, nothing it can do to it. So I'm going to go ahead and pump Domri. Because it'd be stupid not to. And swing. I mean, if he wants to go ahead and take this thing, that's fine with me. Second main phase, I'm going to actually pop... Yeah, I'm going to pop the carrot. Because what can he do? He can put out... If he has another land, he can put out... No, I don't want to do that. Yeah, I'd rather just pay 1 mana for it. And put out the Loom Line. I've got control of the game here. I don't want to risk it by letting him put out 2 lords that pump each other. I want to be able to kill them if that happens. So he'll cast the first lord, and then in response to his second lord, I'll go ahead and... Sure, I don't care. It's really that not big of a deal. It's the Domri did its job. Mountain here is good because now I can do the Horizon Canopy and still exist with my life. I'm in secure control of this game. Double Vapor Snag. That's fine. You still go down to 6 life. Oh, no. It hurts me. Right. That's fine. Again, I may have given away that I've got the Volcanic Fallout with that play, but I don't really care, you know? Like, yeah. So, yeah, that's fine. Cool. So we have a Pillar Flame here, we have a Gorklan Rampager, and an Experiment 1 plus 3 lands. I'm going to take it. It's not the best keep in the world, but it's not the worst keep in the world either. And yeah, if he doesn't have, like, a turn 1... we just drew a Lightning Bolt. I mean, that's awesome. We have 3 removal spells. Well, Gorklan has a soft removal spell. But you catch my drift. You catch my drift. But we are going to prepare for, what do you call it? We are going to prepare for Volcanic Fallout. And again, like I said in my my post when I was talking about like the ways to crack for lands, we are currently cracking for... We're currently cracking for red because we've got a lot of removal in the hand. Tidebender Mage, sure. That guy's not living past this turn, so it's fine. That saves you 1 turn of damage. 1 turn of damage. I think I'm going to crack a basic here. I might be wrong. But I'm going to crack for basic because I'm not greedy. Right, that only screws me if I need to have access to white next turn, which I shouldn't. So we're going to Pillar Flame this because I can do that, and I'd rather keep the 3 instant speed damage for later. Tidebender Mage, not so great. I have a lot of cards in my deck that does damage. It's good. I mean, blocks down a Goyf. Sure, that's good, I guess. Let's see if he's... No, he's got the land. But he does. It's uncolored. And Merfolk land doesn't tap for colored spell mana. So it forces him to, if he wants to play a Lord or like something that costs yeah like that. Oh, that is a bad late draw, dude. That is a bad late draw. Drawing all these lands here is not necessarily what I want. And you notice how I gave an ever so slight hesitation to putting out, like, to doing that. It's because I've got the, to going attack phases because I've got the Gore Clan Rampager. And I hesitated on the Gore Clan Rampager, so he probably thinks that I've got the Gore Clan Rampager. I'm not worried about it. It's not like I'm trying to run it out there. What does he think he's going to do? Put down, like, a Lord, have a 3/3 Mutavault to block with? Oh, 2 Ether Vials later. Gosh, that's a crappy draw, man. I feel bad for you. I'm going to crack this. No reason not to. Temple Garden seem good. Domri Raid. That's cool. Domri Raid's cool. We could be blown out here by a mana leak with the Gore Clan, and I'd rather waste the Domri. So I'm going to put up my lands and swing. See if he's got any effects. Nope. Swing. So we could get hit by a mana leak here. I don't care. If he mana leaks it, then we know he has one less card in his hand. You're playing blue. I expect counters. So that's something I'm not going to want to draw next turn, so I'm going to go ahead and crack my fetch. Because it's kind of funny. He's like, well, you're playing red, so why don't you bolt me? And I'm like, well, I don't have to yet, so no real reason to. Show me the fish. That's fun. Plus, I can trample over, so that's not a big deal. I guess he's expecting me to be blown out right now. Oh, yeah. Crap. I already moved to upkeep, so stupid me. I'm going to have to take the damage on that one. That was stupid of me, but whatever. That's my life, I guess, in a nutshell. Domri. Cool. Domri's cool. So what I'm thinking about doing here is making Curdape fight the making Curdape fight the Silvergill, and that way he'll flash out his Lord, and I'm okay with that. And I think that worked in our favor. Yeah, totally. And second main, do I want to play my creature? Yeah, I think I do. Even though it hurts me, that seems fine. Because he doesn't have a way to counter it. And that pumps our Experiment 1 to a 3/3. We have a 4/4 Trampler. I can make Domri fight anything with that 4/4 Trampler. Then play another Domri and really just screw him. I can double remove stuff. And then trample over. That seems good too. Because like even if he blocks and kills my Gore Clan, I trampled over some amount. He ain't getting to his Master of Waves. That's not happening, I can tell you that. Alright, I guess he could. He's got to put the land down, but even if he Master of Waves, he gets 2 tokens. Big whoop. Although I guess he could Ether Vial now. Like, Ether Vial's actually become a serious thing now. But from what I'm looking at, he can play 3 creatures, and I can at least remove 2 of them. Master of Pearl Trident, sure. Scalding Tarn, not what I wanted to see here. But what can I do here? I could probably make Gorklan Rampager fight that, and he can pump it up to a 4/4 with the other thing, but that'll still kill it. And yes, it'll kill my Gorklan, but then I can also make one of his 3/3s fight my 3/3. That's suicidal. Attacking would be fine, because if he puts out a Lord and a Lord to make this guy a 4/4, well then no, because then it makes all of them 4/4s, and that sucks for me. So the best thing I could do is pump the Domri here. Or not, don't pump the Domri, sorry. Take away the Domri. And sure, he can double vial things in. Seems fine. Sure, that unaffects it. But that's actually a better play, because now then we can just go ahead and do another Domri. That kills it. And he wants to block with the Cure. He's going to have to block with the Cure. He can't vial in another creature in order to save his Master Pearl Trident, and it won't kill my Gorklan. He could trade for my Gorklan at this point. That's no big. He can't bounce it back either because he's got a Mutavault, and the only thing he can do is put in a creature. Dead? Gamri gets it done. He must have thought it was cute, though. I guess he conceded, sure. Well, I guess we won that game. Sure, whatever. Yeah, like, again, Domri would have been fine there, because it would have been, like, even if I had more removal, it would have kicked from the game. Oh, Canadian man. Canada's mad at me. It wouldn't matter, really, if it was Domri or any removal. It wouldn't have mattered. But again, like I said, Domri was good there because he didn't draw me any cards, but he did make me see that I had what do you call it? I had a fetch land that I had to get rid of off the top of my library, which did give me another Domri, which was good because the Domri ended up working out. Or if it was burned, it would have been fine. So the Domri, like I said, in who knows what it's happening, that's great. You guys got to see me not play Volcanic Fallout, but basically say that I was not going to lose the game because of Volcanic Fallout. I mean, the guy definitely got screwed over a little bit by his draws, so I'm not saying that it was the best in the world. But that's like something like I showed you. We don't have bad top decks. That last game, I was probably top decking the worst. I mean, I was beating down with fucking 2/2s. But all the top decks are relevant in this deck. Even when I top decked the Domri and it was an extra Domri, still was relevant, still worked. That's one of the main reasons why I really like this deck. And I will be showing you guys the other different versions of the zoo too. So again, like I said, this one's basically consistency and solidity, solidness. in the fact that if you want a deck that you can like rely on and know won't screw you, this is the deck you want to go for. Gruul Zoo has the downside of, yes, you can get screwed by your own deck because it's explosive but inconsistent. Likewise, the 3 CMC Zoo can be like, well, if you get mana screwed, you're screwed. This deck you can get mana screwed, but you can be alright with it. And Naya midrange, again, you lose a lot of the speed in sort of to go big. So this is the one that I really like. There's numbers that could change. Like lightning bolts could not change. I keep 4 lightning bolts, but lightning helix, pack to exile, pillar flame, Domries. Those are the ones that I basically would say could change in numbers. I used to have 4 flex spots, but the Gore Clan Rampager is solid. It's solid. Like you guys saw. When it was Blood Rush, it was awesome for Blood Rush. When it was not Blood Rush, it was still a good creature. So it didn't matter. It was solid with the Domri. The sideboard could change basically for anything. There's a crap ton of things that could change in the sideboard. The Boros Charm's in there because Boros Charm's awesome for dealing 4 damage, and I will sideboard in Boros Charm a lot against decks that I need just more damage output, like Tron. I'll sideboard in Boros Charm. Also, it's relevant because they're Oblivion Stones, and it seems like there's a lot more bird wipes with things like Fire Spout hanging around right now. And I really do. Bad was saying that he thinks that Faye should be sideboarding in Damnations, which is totally true. If you're going to be like a control deck, like a Grixis control deck, yeah, sideboard in Damnation. And Boros Charm counters that. I think Boros Charm in this meta is better than Vines of Vastwood. Now, if you guys followed any of my videos, you know that I was on the Vines of Vastwood camp for a very, very long time. When you have a lot of spot removal, Vines of Vastwood is superior than Boros Charm. When you have a lot of board wipes or multiple removal, then Boros Charm becomes better. Double Strike, not really relevant in this deck. There's very few times that it's mattered. I did have an awesome Tron game not too long ago where I Gore Clan Rampager Blood Rush my Luxodon Smiter and then used Boros Charm to give it double strike, and I was like, well, there you go. So I'm hitting you for, just 16 points of damage that tramples over your chump blocker. The funny thing is he had a Worm Coil engine out, and it didn't matter that he was gaining 6 life because of it, because you were hitting him for 16. 16. What's up? So that was that was kind of fun. But yeah, rarely the double strike matters. The double strike only matters when you basically have to force use that as spot removal. And you're giving double strike to like a wild Noctowl, so it takes out a Tarmogoyf or something. Oh yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. And remember to feed your animals. Tibbity boop. Tibbity boop. Tibbity boop. Ooh, she's a boop. She's a boop. She's the tibbity boop. Alright, go away now. Go away.